Get back to work. Go on.
Alright, hey everybody, Gears here with another update on apples. Right now, I had the fourth coat of red down and I've only done one coat of white. So the fourth coat of red had been dry for 36 hours or so, and I put a piece of tape down like this here, pulled it back up just to make sure that it was really dry and the texture was left behind. So I decided to sand it all down, and I thought 600 was going to be aggressive enough. Then I went to 220 and that was not aggressive enough, so I did an entire pass of 6, went down to 2, and when the 220 was not adequate, I dropped it down to 100. And pretty much there is nowhere here that has gone through to silver, whereas with the one pass, let's find a good one. I love that area there. Right here, so I went down to bare fiberglass on that, so you can see how it's built up. We've got the white, the silver, the rust layer, another silver, then the primer, and fiberglass. There's a clear example of it as well. So yeah, you could dry brush brown and silver on, but it just won't look like this at all. And at some point I'm going to have to get in here and sand all this properly with all the corners. But not now. Here's some bare fiberglass. Here's a more standard example of what's going on when you hit this with 100. So the fact that so much is clean here really says something about the transition zone, and it picks up here, picks up there. Whereas this panel here must be perfectly flush and underneath these two panels to maintain almost no sanding whatsoever. And the top is pretty nice too. Looks like Ganymede. So yeah, so it's time to mask up. Oh, and you'll note there are a couple very tiny little indentations that have remained behind. There's one particular pit . This guy right there. That's like an air bubble that goes way down. Rather, it was an air bubble when it was fiberglass liquid. That's really the only one of those. There are a few bubbles around some edges here. Over in, there's only like 4, maybe 5. That's the worst one. There's a session. And then 2 more. So yeah, I guess more than 4 or 5, but that's certainly reasonable to deal with for what I've got here. Here's a couple pits on the white. Those might be the only one of those, I can be pretty sure. A couple dents up top. There you can see where I tried to peel the masking tape off on a number of these pieces. There. There. So in a lot of cases it left a dent. Sometimes I was able to get rid of it. Other times it looks like they'll be there permanently because those are pretty deep. That's down to base fiberglass right there. So potentially I could just fill that. But I'm going to leave it as a characteristic flaw that will be enhanced as this ages and weathers naturally. So even though I'm going to start out with auto grade, deep gloss kind of look, I'm going to let it go from there. Whatever dirt it gets, that's the dirt it gets. So let me set the camera up and we'll do some time lapse.